week's episode of Connect. Of course, this is the program that brings you all the conversations about relationships. Now, we do not like to depend solely on the man-woman relationship, but we talk about all kinds of relationships. And we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. My name is Uyai Anek, and thanks for joining us once again. Of course, you know, I never ever come to the table alone. I always come with people that, you know, have the story to tell, people that know their onions, people that are coaches in this particular area of life. And today I have two phenomenal women who, in their rights, you know, they've been able to maximize their waiting season. One has crossed over, the other is waiting to cross over. But whilst we wait, in the journey, how do we carry ourselves? And today we have an opportunity for them to tell their peculiar stories. And it's my singular honor to open the floor this evening and introduce to you Mrs. Udwak Victor Tom. Good evening and good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good to have you. And I also have here Miss Christy. I'm going to add her other name, Malicha. Yeah, she's Queen Malicha herself, but Christy is her first name.
Thank
right.
You.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Now, these women are vested in great things. Malicha is so that you can get why we are talking about the things we are talking about. Malicha is a fashion designer. She is a baker. She is there any business no do? She's a coffee seller. What don't you do, please? And she is a women empowerment coach.
You're even supporting.
What don't you do exactly? Because so that it doesn't.
I don't sell human beings.
She says she doesn't sell human beings. Absolutely. And we have Mrs. Udwak Tom, who herself is a psychotherapist, right?
Yeah.
Psychologist. Yeah, she's a psychologist. Works best with teenagers. You coach teenagers. And yeah, and I know you're also into them. What do IVF related things? Yeah, all those kind of things. Wow. So you have like vested women. Okay. So let's backtrack a little bit. Waiting to get married or waiting for a relationship to happen in your life is like, you know, something that we have everybody hung up upon. And then sometimes people have the tendency to think it's just women that are waiting for relationships to happen to them. But we don't know that there are men that are like, God, deliver me from this thing.
So God when is not just women.
God when is not just women. God when is not just women. Absolutely. You're getting it right. So I'm going to start with Udwak for some, you know, reasons. Now, waiting until you got married, how long did you have to wait? Like years? You know, like we have this thing that we say like, oh, at 24, 25, we should be married. But some people wait later than then, in quote.
All right. I think everything starts with the orientation that one has. Okay. Growing up, we thought we had all the time, you know, to play with. And I can remember when I started my first year, you know, that I was already 25. And then you can't just tell your left from your right. You make mistakes here, rise up from there, and try to push forward. But one thing I love about myself was that I was kind of focused. I always wanted to back all the certificates that life could offer that my parents couldn't get. All right, so, but my target was like, okay, until I get to PhD, nothing like relationship or marriage. Why was I saying so? Because everybody, Socrates said, man, know thyself, okay? So I actually tried to understand myself that I can't, you know, juggle through two things, schooling, relationship. It was like, if I'm in, I'm in. If I'm not there, so I couldn't, you know, juggle through the two, and I set my target at that. But over time, you know, I moved from where I was to Akwa Ibom, and I started hearing messages from our beloved pastor of blessed memory, Pastor Ezekiel Atang, and that was when my eyes popped open. Man, you don't need to wait till when you are ready for you to prepare your mind first. And now at this time, you're already, you know, out of the list. They said that the beautiful ones are not yet born. There are many beautiful ones coming up. And then that was when my mind started prepare. I started preparing my mind towards it. But when you now prepare your mind, it's like the more you prepare your mind, the farther away is the desire being actualized. And at a point it was, you know, I came across a book as a psychologist. I read a lot, and I came across a particular story. I said at a particular point in a woman's life, no matter what you know, achieve in life, if there is no tangible relationship that should lead to marriage, you know, a solid relationship that should lead to marriage, you feel like there is a vacuum somewhere compared to the male counterpart that no matter what you have or working out for you, if you don't have a job, you know, it's like you have not yet started. So to us, it's like relationship. Of course, that's how God made us to be, relational in nature. So if a lady gets to a point and now got to realize, they say, they started segmenting it, matured singles.
Ladies.
So that means you have left this other side. You are no more the younger single. You are now a mature single. At a point, you know, there is, everybody is, if you understand your system differently, then, you know, there are some people that when they are seeing their period, it's like, wow, who is there to hug? Who is there to hold? That moment comes in, you know, every lady's life. And then there are some that maybe it is during their ovulation, it's like hair wire. At that time, they just forget themselves. And, you know, some fast guys that understand, they will take advantage of that and they will mess it up for them. And after that, they will go to normal. So to me, it was like, for how long is this going to be so? So I channel all my energy into my schooling. Finished my ND, I wasn't satisfied. I went for BSc. I wasn't satisfied. I went for my master's, you know, in a bit to still get to where I actually wanted to be. And I said, okay, immediately I'm done with this master, I'll just get my PhD. And what is like the fulfillment that I had was more in this, rather than listen to what people will say, because marriage is actually a part of your life. It's not the entire part of the life. So if at all this side of my life is not working for now, let me actually develop this other side. So I delve into business. I sell palm oil, I sell bonds, I sell I just needed to get myself busy, not thinking marriage. And funnily enough, when other people ask, how do you know, cope with being single, and there is nothing like scandal, you are not being, you know, found wanting in one way or the other, how did you navigate your way through it? I said, it's by being focused. Put your mind on something, and so then try to be
Let me just even hold it there, because you have, like, you know, churned out a lot of things already. The fact that, you know, understand yourself, be focused. I know there's something else that she said. I hope it comes back to me. But it's fine. It's beautiful to see that you become versatile. You know, find ways to discover yourself. Now, for Uduak, she had a focus of, let me do my PhD, and then after then we can now start talking relationship. But what was it like for you, Abby? What is it like for you? Because I mean, we are still waiting.
Because I'm still waiting.
Yeah, we are still waiting. We're actually looking at, like, maximizing the waiting.
Yes, the waiting.
Okay.
While you are waiting for this marriage to come, for this love to come, how are you handling yourself in the meantime? I mean, Uduak has talked about ovulation season and the menstrual cycle season, how it does the women in the body. I mean,
okay, I think that understanding the phase you're in is very important. So you understand that it's just a phase, so it is eventually going to pass.
But it takes long to pass for some people.
Yes, yes, it does. And then to maximize it, it's a period of time, and if it passes, you can't get it back. So you would have to maximize. Now, to maximize it would mean doing something with it. So for me, for instance, and when I talk to some other single young women, beer woman of what, I'm like, you know, when you get married, like, there are some things you may not be able to do at the time you want to do it. Maybe your husband needs attention, maybe if you have a child, needs attention and all of that. So what I do is that I use this period to do, like she said, you know, she wanted to get to PhD and all that. But yours may not be PhD. Mine is not PhD, for instance. Mine is business.
You just want to keep pursuing
so
your
I want,
business.
yes. So I want
your
to do,
business
yes. So I was talking to my mom one day and I said, Mommy, by the time I get, you people are going to call me and say, are you not going to work? And I'll be like, I'm not coming. I'm on break. So why? Because I've already told myself that now I'm going to focus on my businesses, focus on my career, you know. So we are building woman of what? we are trying to make sure that we give out as much as possible. Now, business-wise, there's Malicha clothing, there's Malicha foods, there's Malicha beddings. So what I'm doing now is to put structures in place so that if I am not there in the business that day or a certain day or a certain period of time, business can run. So I know that the period you're waiting is time to make proper decisions that will now help you in the next phase. So for me is maximize the time you have. What is it about you that is not that you've not built yet? There are things that you would even need in the marriage that you would have to develop now, like tenacity.
So
because you would have to attend to your husband, look at your children, even before the children come. Because you have your husband, yeah? And then some people, I know that different individuals have different emotional needs. Your husband can come and he's a very clingy person. And he's not a difficult person, but he's a very, and he needs you. So you're not about to start telling us that, me, I'm not used to all these people. No. This time that you're now single is time for you to build that kind of character. Build tenacity to handle your husband's needs and then to handle maybe your business or your career, because you will still have to run business. Is there anything
in your day-to-day life that is preparing you for that season of your life? Because I think these are the things that people don't know. If they feel like, okay, I'm not married yet, nothing in my current day life is preparing me for the married life. But do you seem to differ from that opinion? Especially as you run businesses.
Yeah. I think running a business even helps. Because in running a business, you come across so many people, different people with different traits. In fact, staff alone. So sometimes I walk into my office in the morning, and one staff has done something that you want to rant and rake and rake and rake. But that ability to, look at it and be quiet. Or look at it and become, obviously you're the boss, so you can scream and everybody runs away and that kind of thing. But you will need that character again in the future. So even though, okay, I'm not married now and all of that, there are people you're working with. There are people that you meet every day. There are people that you relate with every day. So what is their own different character traits, and how do you deal with that? Because you will need that. And sometimes, again, apart from work, even at home. So maybe you have siblings, or you have people that you live with, and when your sister or your brother stands up and maybe you shared a bed and he or she did not make the bed, what do you do? How do you react to that? Because we are not saying, you're going to marry a man that is scattered. No. But your husband could stand up and he did not make the bed. So what would you do? So it is not that there has to be one big thing that is teaching you, but the little everything. So your sister can get into the kitchen. Let me use brother. Because we are talking about you being married to a man now, okay? So let me use your brother. He wakes up, goes to the kitchen.
And brothers always are in that spirit to try you.
So he picks up something and then he just drops it there. My brother stays with me, so I know what I'm saying. So sometimes when I wake up and I'm writing or I'm doing something else, or I'm listening to a podcast or something, and he leaves the house, my kitchen door is open. So, things are just, but then I have already gotten to the point where it doesn't come to me like that. So I know that I am not going to end up with a reckless man. But these things, you have to give small openings for those kind of things. Your husband could be sick or ill, and then he's totally helpless. So those little things that you're learning how to cope with now is going to help you. Those things are going to help you relate better. So it now looks like somebody gave you a whole rundown.
Yeah. So everyday life, everyday activity is building you up for the person you're going to become as a partner.
And you have to maximize it. Let it be intentional.
Intentionally maximizing your small activities to build up. Right. So even sometimes the way we see ourselves in the work environment, how you react when you are under pressure from work. That's how that may be how you're going to react also when you are under pressure from relationship.
So you can start to watch it, how you respond to it, because you can have pressure. I know, like if you relate, that's why I use maybe your family. So you know that in marriage, your husband may have a presentation, you have a presentation at work, and then you still have to handle the home front. So it's almost the same thing. So if right now you're single and then every little thing is getting to you, every little there's a problem. You will definitely display that in the marriage. And you have to also note that your husband may not everybody can take jabs. you know, a little thing, and not everybody can take it, and it can cause a major problem.
I think I can totally relate with that in terms of like when you're talking about like jobs. I know some people like they just swing sarcasm anyhow they like. I do not take sarcasm well. Like I was terrible before, but now I have learned having interacted.
So you're maximizing.
You know, sarcasm just rubs me off the wrong way, and especially when especially when you have something serious to deal with on the table. I'm tabling you something serious, and you're answering me with sarcasm. I could just, you know, lose it. You know, in that moment, I lose things internally. I don't explode. I usually implode. So and even talking about that now, let's talk about managing relationships premarital now. There were people that came into your life, they tried your patience, you know, and we're even talking about, I'm saying for me as a person, I do not explode, I implode. So how do you, you know, manage situations that rub you off, you know, before now? And now that you are married, how has it paid off? Like, was there a particular now, you know, sometimes we are like, don't waste your time dating people because I mean, but sometimes you find out that the person you dated A, B, and C, you learned one or two that is now helping you in your relationship with your spouse. So how is that for you now?
Okay, like I said initially, relationship was not my major challenge. My focus was my career. All right, but along the line, of course, you can't just exist on your own. You come across people in church, you come across people in your school, you come across. So I came across a lot of people, you know, especially the male counterpart. But what was, since relationship, being in any serious relationship was not my focus at the moment, so anyone who brings it on, I'll tend to, you know, shove it away. But there was this guy, you know, everybody has, when somebody say I don't have a crush, actually lying, because like everybody just crush on one person or the other. You may not even tell the person, but you know you are crushing on someone. Okay, there was this guy that I just like the guy can read, the guy, anytime you ask of material, this guy is ready. And the guy was actually encouraging me in my own career. Imagine you see somebody say, this thing, you need to publish this work. You need to do this. You need to do that. You're like, wow, this is my own. You that didn't want to fall in love. You didn't just fall in love. You dived into the love. Okay. So, but that was not actually, but I actually defined the kind of relationship I would love to have in future. Okay, so it starts by defining what you want out of life. Not because while you are waiting, because all manner of people will come. You will come across all manner of people. You know, just like the Bible says that Adam, God gave him the responsibility of naming animals. So I don't think Adam saw hippopotamus and said, wow, honey, you're looking sweet, man. I don't think so, because he kept naming this thing. Okay, this is hippopotamus, elephant, and the rest of it. And then when maybe after everything and God presented him Eve, he didn't hesitate to say, okay, this is my wife. But that time, this person knows that this is a human being, or this person has my own characteristics. But for me, it wasn't just jump. I define my relationship. Oh, this is my colleague at work. Okay, this is my pastor. Okay, this is my church member. This is my neighbor. So I was able to tag each of them such that when my neighbor crosses the path and then maybe wants to act like a lover, I'll remind my neighbor, you are my neighbor. And this is the, you know, so while waiting, you shouldn't say because you are waiting or you don't want to get married, then you now make enemies of everyone. Because you don't know who knows someone that knows someone that knows someone that you'll get married to. No, if you do like that, at the end of it, you'll be surprised that you appear in the family and say, this one, no, I don't want this one. And by this time, maybe you have repented, you are okay. These people were not there to see you when you repented. I get it. So for everyone that comes across you, and maybe you come across in life, learn to put them in their own place. Relate across board. Relating with the opposite sex will not actually, you know, bite you. To me, even to the young ones, I said I'm not against boyfriend, girlfriend. Sorry to say it. I'm not against it, but what you do in that relationship is what matters. If your child, for instance, is working with a guy, maybe she's crushing on the person and started, you know, blowing and throwing tantrums, you will lose that person. Are you getting it? But let's know the kind of person you are relating. Bring the person home. Let's look at this person very well, and then you'll be able to guide the person through. So to me, it wasn't like because you are not ready for marriage, you will now start throwing tantrums and lashing out anyone. Some ladies, we are good because that's not your spec. You have already built your spec. You must be tall, lanky, handsome, six-pack, pink lips, and the rest of it. And then anyone that has a go ahead and is coming and it was not in your own list, you just tend to give it to the person hot. You don't even want. It's a hello what? As in how? Me to you.
You don't know your level. You don't know your
Find your class. I am not in your class. The person is like common greetings, and you are like this. And the next time maybe you happen to find yourself, because guys too talk, they also relate, they talk among themselves. So when they communicate and maybe your name comes up, let's say in church, that one is only unto the Lord. My own was like, okay, this one is church, you are carrying it on your head. But they won't say that if you won't relate with any other person. You won't step on my toe and I'll just start ranting over it. I'll tell you that you step on my toe.
Wow.
Next time, don't step like that again.
Okay.
So that is it. You need to also define it. Define every relationship that comes to you. Because you tend to relate with anyone at all. When you list this one and define it very well, it won't be a problem, to know. But when you start attaching emotion to your boss, you are seeing a goal. In your pastor, your pastor's wife have done a great job and finished making the man. You are now seeing your daddy as your boyfriend. You are a thief. Seriously, it's not supposed to be so. So let's try to see how we can maximize our time. Maximizing the waiting time season does not mean eating your cake and having it. You won't say that you are single. Pastor Ezekiel used to say that you have to be truly single. I think I can remember that when he said, Lord, I'm still single. Why? Some people feel like, now we have the point to tell God, why are we still single? But that was not the essence of that book. It was like, what should I do while I am still single? What should I do? Not that say, Lord, I'm single, but you are connected. You have hookup here, there. Johnny, you have flings and all those stuff. And at the end of it, you are eating your apple and then you are cleaning your mouth. And still, when they say lift up your hands, if you are expecting a husband, your hand goes the highest. You understand?
But angels can see things all in your hands, right?
You need to be truly single. And you do that by maximizing it and then getting to involve yourself in things that is profitable and beneficial.
Right. Wow. So like when someone speaks and then you feel like you want to clap in this moment. But just to summarize a few things she has said, while you are single, it's important to name the relationships in your life. You can say Ifyok is my colleague. He doesn't go beyond colleague. Nsikak is my colleague. He doesn't go beyond there. All those kinds of things that you do not now. I've been treated to my cup at this moment, right? So you don't begin to attach unnecessary emotion to relationships that are not in that space.
Just say hi and you bought the wedding gown. Hello.
That's a point.
And your ring is
that's something we should deal with after the break. Manager, after we return from this break, we are going to deal with sewing your wedding dress before time in your mind. All right, at this point, we've been having great conversations here on Connect, and of course, dissecting what we should do in our waiting season. At this point, let's take a very, very quick break, and when we return, we'll be bringing you the rest of the conversations on Connect. To stay with us.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigeria.
From issues on politics,
hello Nigeria, I remain committed.
Security,
education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Still Connect, and we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. What are we talking about today? Maximizing your waiting season. If you're still single, what are you doing right or what are you doing wrong? Prelude to when you eventually receive that man or that woman that you hope to receive in your life. And we've talked about a lot of things. Top of which is that you must define the relationships in your life during your waiting season. You can't grant access to everybody at the same time. Now let me come to Mali Child, because this is, I know I will not forget that. I said after the break we'll deal with it. Now when we are waiting, and that's why some men tag women desperate, right? A man just walks into your life, says hello once or twice, sends you a message, and then like in my background, we have like, if someone talks to you like for 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight, you better ask him what he's looking for you right now. You can't just be chatting me every 2 weeks
have
on
you
anything,
eaten?
calling me, have you eaten? Have you
See if I say
Where did
I
you
have
go?
not eaten, you
You
give
need
me.
to be able to tell what
You want.
is this about. Now, there's a tendency for women to be, once someone gets into their life, like Udrak said before the break, we've bought our wedding dress, we've named our children with you, when we do not even know where you're heading. Please, you know, navigating that space. I know you meet men a lot in your, in your line of trade. How is that for you? And how should that be for people?
Okay, I think one of the things she said is you should define the kind of people that you want. Or let me say, define the kind of person
relationship you
that
hope
you
to have.
Yeah. So beyond I want a man who is chubby or not chubby or
slim.
this or no, beyond that, beyond the physical attributes, you have to go a bit in depth. What do you want? What kind of person?
So that means man is not man.
What kind of personality are you looking at? And again, this goes back to what kind of person are you?
Wow.
And then it goes down to what do you want to do with your life? Because I know, like this, my life might never get less busy.
Oh, I love that point, because I like to drive it home. Yeah, this not even like me taking words from your mouth, but I realize that like every year of my life as I transit, I get busier. So when you're building the picture of the future you're heading, it needs to have that in the box. You have to
understand. So I know that I might never get to the point where I always have to. I create designs for my brand now. I don't have we don't have another designer yet. So I still do, and I know that even when we get to, I will still create designs for my brand. I will still have to look at the other parts of Malisha, Malisha food. Even if I'm just taking the records, even if I'm just checking, and then I have woman of worth, and then let's say I'm now married, and I have children, and I love family. So it will never really get. I don't have anything to do. So now I have to put that into consideration when I am looking out for, okay, who I want to marry. So if I'm looking at this guy and he's all cool and he's all nice and he's all sweet and he's all bedded and all of that, what kind of person is he? What does he like? What does he want to do with his own life? Is he going to be as busy as I am? And if he is, what is his what are his views?
What sacrifices are we willing to make
about family life? So is he the one that, that's where all these problems come from. You do not think about that. You do not talk about it. And then you get married and the next year the man is saying, I don't want somebody that will not be there with my children. I don't want somebody that will be there. I don't want somebody that is traveling every day. And then everything is just messed up. But so beyond, this guy is fine. This guy smells nice. What do you want to do with your life? What does he want to do with his life?
Vision.
Yes. So, and then does it match? So if it doesn't match, for your own good, you let it go.
Yeah, but because sometimes people find out that they are in relationships with people, our visions do not match. But because you are here now and I need to be married before the first half of this year before I turn 35.
You could achieve that. You will be able to achieve that. Oh, I want to get married before I'm 35 or 32 or whatever. But then in the long run, marriage it's not just, okay, I just got married and then it's my first anniversary and it's so much. Beyond that.
There's a lot of life inside.
There's so much. So when you're saying, oh, okay, I'm meeting this person or I'm meeting this person, this helps you sieve your relationships. So I know that this person is a good talker or he's a good this, and he stays there. I need him maybe for, if he's my business partner, we can have a good business. If he's this, we can, but it doesn't exist. And that is you loving yourself even, and being honest with the other person. So self-love, I used to tell women that self-love is not just, oh, I made my hair, oh, my nails is this. No, it is, are you really thinking about your life? And then are you honest with the next person? So do not behave as if, oh, okay, you've met this man, he's everything you want, and you're going to fit into his life correct. When you know that you have something you want to do with your life, that tomorrow you're going to rebel, that's where, you know, we have problems with submission. So now you can't submit to your husband.
So we need to create a good picture of where we are heading. First of all, have a vision for yourself as an individual. You need to know where you are going. Then have a vision for your future relationship and marriage. Now, I feel like atmospheres are important in relationships. So there is a kind of atmosphere I have in my head for my future home. Now, if I'm in talks with a man that I know cannot create or enable that atmosphere,
irrespective of the chemistry,
irrespective of the chemistry in the moment,
serious.
Why do I still continue with that?
You wake up and you will not see that chemistry. Sorry, it will enter into. Have you ever been with somebody that maybe your friend that you like this your friend, and then one day the person does something that is really something that you really dislike. You like that friend, but in that moment, there's problem.
There are moments in relationships and marriage that chemistry
in that
disappears.
One of my cousins told me that we were talking about, you know, being with a man who is not hardworking. Hardworking in the sense that he's not thinking. Yes, he's not up and doing. I have a personal problem with that.
And to him, it's fine.
And it's fine. So we were talking about it, and she said, even if you're in the most intimatest, if there's a word like that, of moments. She said, if maybe you now have children in the marriage, or you have one child, and you know that's when you're feeling all mushy and everything, and your baby just starts crying, and you remember there's no food. She said, everything
dies.
Chemistry.
In the instant, biology will just
the chemistry will just escape.
It
will just go away. So beyond the whole chemistry, oh, I'm not so tall. When he stands beside me, he's so tall.
And I have to tiptoe and take a kiss. So it's
the day you wake up, you don't want to take any kiss. You don't want.
So I feel like communication is a part of all of this too. Communication, knowing how to talk to yourself and living, like you said something. You said, do not live in a farce. You know, sometimes we are lying to ourselves. We are denying who we are.
We're lying.
You're denying who you are as a person. You are denying the reality of your situation. But I feel like also, I know you talked about the fact that you wanted to be single till you did PhD. You're currently pursuing your business. But there are some people that have wanted to be married. They are unfortunately still single, not because they want to pursue a career, pursue PhD or stuff like that. In that moment, people like that, what should they do? I know you've talked about find a vision for yourself. That it cuts across everybody. But there are people who for the longest time, should be told, although they are pursuing a career, pursuing business, pursuing a degree, they have yearned to marry, you know, all of these years. But the years keep turning. Weeks still keep turning to months. What do they do?
Okay, for people like that, maybe maybe the person sat down and said, okay, at age 25 or thereabout, I should settle down. Meaning that that person has to be deliberate and intentional about whatsoever thing he or she is doing. I came across a parent who had this teenager. She's on the large side, you know, and in my mind, I kept saying that, this lady, you need to start training this lady, this teenager, know how to be confident, how to be mature at mind, you know, also, so that before she gets to 23, 24, she's married, depending, you know, because of her size, you know, and she's not doing anything, you know, about it at that moment. Everything goes, she's eating everything. But for someone who needs to settle down, you won't tell me that you didn't have relationships. Most times in the course of the relationship, this kind of persons, you wish to settle down, and men maybe, because there is a seasonal thing. Every season, there's a season that a lady is in, and all guys are rushing at
bloom time, flower, everyone
rushing at this lady, and you feel like, oh, I'm on top of the wall. It will always go like this, but no, it won't always go like that. When that season passes, you have to wait again for another season. And don't forget, a season may take 5 years, 10 years, and the rest of it. So for those kind of persons, I think I came across a book, you know, and that book says that you need to understand how you relate when you have a relationship. So you like the thing. Why not try to pretend as if you don't like the thing? Because men are made as, you know, hunters. They are supposed to be the one to pursue, just like God made it. That they want to pursue, not you paying the groom price. You understand? You have to, like, value yourself and respect yourself so that another person can respect you. Okay, if you have a you want to settle down, meaning you are conscious of it, and God happened to bring people around you. What are you doing with that relationship? Every time, everyone that comes, you are always confessing and going through a cycle. Of course, God is a merciful God. You forget it, but seasons are passing. You are going through a cycle. So if you want to settle down, it's not everything you should do. Every time your back is on the floor, and the next thing you say your heart is broken. I wonder how many hearts you have. You understand? Your heart is peaceful. So you have to be deliberate. Read books. This part of the world we really read, because inside that book that you are going to read is going to be your deliverance. You understand? I can remember when you know, it goes to a time that I'll crush on the person. I like this person. At a point, it's like maybe you relate with the person and get hurt. I'll retrieve my steps back to my library. Which book is there to help me out? And I'll just go and get my book, sit down, and then I read, and then I try to make sure that whenever this thing happens or God brings people my way, I'm not going to abuse that relationship. And funnily enough, when they didn't even want it, that was when it happened.
Awesome. You know, time is never enough for us to have this conversation. Like, I keep hearing, in the moment where I was no longer interested, it happened. I keep asking, how do you people get to that place? But we've had a lot of great conversation, and at this point, I would just like to encourage our viewers, if you have questions stemming from some of the things that we have, you know, discussed here on the show today, and if you also have contributions to make, please do well, you know, to send us text messages and WhatsApp messages on the phone line that will be displayed on your screen. We've talked about discovering yourself. We've talked about having a vision for yourself, for your relationship, so that you know who you can say yes or no to. And I mean, I would have to have these women back again to have this conversation. Several things we can't always unpack.
Talk about loving yourself and being honest with yourself and with the other person.
Defining your relationship.
Loving yourself and loving, you know, being honest. Oh, amazing, amazing. So I want to say a big thank you to you, Udwaktom, for coming. A big thank you to Christy, your Malicha. You know, I really enjoyed my conversation, like some really, really deep revelatory stuff there. And I do appreciate your time on the show this week. Okay, at this point, I'm so sorry the time is short. You could hear that they had so much to unpack, but the time didn't allow it. But we can always catch up on this conversation. Do well to follow us across all the social media platforms, all of which you can find at spectrumtv.ng. See what? Send me a message, send me a question, and I'll definitely deal with it on our next episode. Thanks for watching. My name is Uyai, and you can enjoy the rest of your evening.
The countdown is on.